So how is the new setup on the new Toyota Tacoma going so far? Before I get into that, I have to say we got to give a little ribbing to the third generation guys out there. You know, there's been a lot of chatter about how the new Tacoma, the 2024, is going to be racked with all kinds of problems, right? Recalls and TSBs and failures. Now, it's not to say there haven't been a couple, but there haven't been any recalls or TSBs or anything like that. But there was one recently. I put a video out a couple, 3 weeks ago or something about the official notification of the weld splatter on some bolts and hardware in the rear end. If you haven't seen that video, go back, take a look. It's for 2023 and 2022 Toyota Tacomas. Seems the welding guys got a little over ambitious with the splatter and may have gotten it underneath some bolts that would then cause them to back out and potentially cause big problems. I don't have any of those issues on my 2024, so far I'd say it's better than the third gen when it comes to recalls. I know it's early yet, we shall see. I'm sure there's going to be something crop up down the road. I don't know. One other thing I want to mention, which I'm finding kind of weird about this truck, it has manually adjustable seats, right? And I've been jacking the seat up. It seems like every time I get in the truck, because I have the room. There's a ton of room in here, right? So it almost feels like the seat is going down by itself. Like after I sit in it, and you know, I don't weigh like 400 pounds. So, you know, it's not because I'm hugely overweight. I could lose a couple pounds. But anyway, it just feels like it goes down. I don't know if it's not holding, if there's some kind of issue, if it's in my head. Maybe I get longer and shorter during the day. I don't know. It's very odd. So I'll keep you posted on that. But how is the lift, the new setup, the wheels and tires doing? You know, I lifted this truck. It's been a few weeks ago now, and I know the video aired a little bit later. But let me tell you, if you're a channel member, you would have gotten to see that video like a day, I think it was, after I lifted the truck. So there are some perks to being a channel member if you just can't wait. Anyway, I lifted the truck. It's a 2-inch, about 2.5 inch level lift. What that means is that we brought the rear end up just a little bit, maybe not even at all, honestly. The front end came up a little bit, and that was to level the truck out. Why do that? Well, there's a couple of reasons to do that. One, it makes the truck look better. Unless you like that raked front end look where it's kind of pointing down all the time, and that's how it comes, by the way. You want to kind of bring it up a little bit to even it out. It looks better rather. It might be bitter, I don't know. But it looks better sitting on its own suspension a little bit more level, I guess. The other thing is clearance in the front for bigger tires. Now, I didn't go crazy on the tires. If memory serves, and you can look back, there's the exact correct measurements on those, but I believe I put a 285/65 R18 on. So it didn't give me a huge difference from what I had before, the stock. What I wanted was a different wheel, in this case black TRD wheels. I wanted something that stuck out a little bit more, which I achieved, and that's mostly due to the tires. And I wanted a more aggressive looking tire, something that looked a bit meaner and a bit tougher. I went with Falcon Wild Peaks. They're the AT3Ws. I did not take the leap to the AT4Ws, only because I've had such good luck with the AT3Ws. So I wanted to stay with something that, in my opinion, is the best option you can get out there when it comes to putting aftermarket or different tires on the truck. Ride quality, you wouldn't know I did anything. And I had a lot of people comment that, you know, since I had said how great the Sport was stock, that I would somehow be ruining the ride quality by putting this lift on. I gotta say that unless I told you, well, you can tell from the height and the stance, I suppose, but otherwise, if you got into the truck blindfolded, before and after, went for a ride, you wouldn't notice any difference whatsoever. Now, fuel economy, we got to talk about that a little bit. Still up in the air. I'm getting 18.1 miles per gallon. That is a 0.2 mile per gallon drop from what I actually had before. So there has been a little bit of a fuel economy drop, but it's not enough that I can blame it on the new setup versus just my driving style. I recently put the pedal commander in, and I've been kind of playing with the truck a little bit, so I know my foot is a little bit heavier when it comes to just tooling around in the truck. It's probably because of that. I also did a little bit of testing with the pedal commander where I was on the gas harder, so I know I've kind of taken away from the fuel economy a little bit with that. But now we're just kind of cruising around as normal, and we'll see if the fuel economy starts to improve again. It was on its way up. Do I recommend this lift? Well, it kind of depends on what you're looking for. You know, if you're not looking for a level lift and you want to go higher than what this lift, which by the way came from Toyota, does, then you're probably not going to be happy with it. I mean, it's not a 3 or 4 inch lift, but I will caution you from my own experience. I once put a 3.5 inch lift on a 2020 Tacoma, a 3rd gen, and it actually took it the other way. It looked like I was getting ready to blast off. It was kind of that pre-runner look, if you will, or Baja look. It pointed the front end up in the air. I really didn't care for that look. And it also cost me a rate control arm. It blew the seal, and that had to be fixed. I don't know. If you're going to do a lift bigger than, I would say, 3 inches, just beware that you're going to have to change some other suspension component parts as well, because the angle becomes too severe if you don't take care of that. I think on that truck I went with, I believe it was with a Bilstein adjustable shock, if I'm not mistaken, and it was as high as I could get them to go. That compromised ride quality as well. You know, I had the shock all the way up, if you will, and that means you're going to have reduced ride quality, and I sure did notice that in that truck. It was very rough going over bumps and very severe going over dips and things in the road. I think that's actually what cost me that control arm. I went over a pretty big dip coming out of a McDonald's, and it just felt weird. I think that's what actually caused me the problem. Can't say for sure, but yeah, I think it did. So anyway, the lift is doing great. You wouldn't even know it was on the truck other than aesthetics. I highly recommend going this route if you want to go a little bit bigger with your tires, get a little bit of wheel poke, and you can go bigger than I did for sure. There's plenty of room for even a bigger tire under there, and I probably will do that down the road at some point. We're going to just kind of test it out this way for now. Leave a comment if you've got the new Tacoma and you've lifted it. What did you go with, and what size tires did you put on, and what kind of an offset did you go with? I'd just be curious to know. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Bye.